I need your help.
I can't come out.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today we're diving deep into Silo Season 2, Episode 3, titled Solo, which brings us a dramatic shift in both plot and character development. In this episode, we see Juliet struggle for survival in an abandoned silo, while back in Silo 18, the rebellion hits a major setback, and we're left with more questions than answers. The stakes are higher than ever, and with the silo's dark secrets unraveling bit by bit, this episode sets the stage for what's to come. Let's break down all the key moments, characters, and plot twists that define Episode 3.
Mom! Mom! Go home!
The rebellion faces its first major setback. The episode kicks off with the tension that's been building ever since last week's conclusion, a sense of optimism fueled by the mysterious Juliet Lives graffiti. This hopeful sign spreads across the silo like wildfire, inspiring some, but the consequences are swift and brutal. Security forces arrest Teddy, a worker from Mechanical, who's blamed for spreading the message. Teddy is a former ally of Juliet, and his arrest is a clear attempt to use him as a scapegoat for this rebellion. Shirley, the leader of the underground rebellion, is immediately on the case. When she finds Teddy's mother, Evelyn, consoling her son, she initially assumes that the leadership is simply trying to punish a person for standing up. But Evelyn, despite the hardship, is proud of her son for making a stand, a sentiment that resonates deeply with Shirley. This moment gives Shirley the motivation to promise that they won't allow Teddy to become another example of the silo leadership's cruelty. Shirley's character is further fleshed out here. She's not only driven by a desire for justice, but by a deep sense of pride in the cause, which will play a key role later in the season. Meanwhile, within the walls of Silo 18, Judge Meadows and Bernard Holland continue their strategic meetings. The two of them are at odds over how to handle the crisis at hand. Meadows, despite working with Bernard, cannot entirely align with his approach. She is deeply skeptical of the Order's strict adherence to maintaining control over the silo's lower classes, especially through scapegoating mechanical workers. Meadows, while still loyal to some extent, suggests freeing Teddy and shifting the blame for the graffiti onto someone from the upper levels, hoping that this act of mercy could prevent full-blown war between the classes. At the same time, Bernard insists that following the leadership's commands is paramount, continuing to push the narrative of suppressing the rebellion, all while maintaining the status quo of power within the silo. His belief in the Founder's Creed drives him to take extreme measures, but Meadows begins to see just how far Bernard is willing to go to maintain control. What's important in this scene, however, is the continued exploration of Juliet's cleaning. Meadows presses Bernard on the details of the incident, questioning whether Juliet really did ask to go outside as Bernard has claimed. Bernard, ever the slippery politician, maintains that Juliet's request for cleaning was inevitable and part of a larger plan. But Meadows isn't convinced. Her doubts about Bernard's version of events only grow as she digs deeper into the mysteries surrounding Juliet. As the episode continues, we also learn that Bernard and Sims are working behind the scenes to erase memories. This chilling revelation comes to light during a conversation between the two, where Sims reveals that those who had knowledge of the hard drive's secrets have been subjected to a drug that selectively alters their memories. This tactic ensures that those who know too much are effectively silenced without their knowing it. In exchange for his cooperation, Sims strikes a deal with Patrick Kennedy to help him forget everything, including the painful memory of his late wife. This use of memory manipulation adds a whole new layer of depth to the series, demonstrating just how far the leadership will go to control the population.
My husband keeps telling me we have better odds.
Grief, memory, and the truth. Grief becomes a central theme throughout this episode, particularly in the interactions between Pete Nichols and Phoebe. Pete, who reconciled with his estranged daughter just before she was taken away, struggles to cope with the loss. His sleepless nights are filled with wandering through the silo's garden, where he encounters Phoebe, a pregnant woman worried about her chances of winning the birth lottery. Their conversation highlights a deep existential question, whether it's right to bring a child into a world so uncertain and oppressive. Pete, in his wisdom, responds by comparing the act of having a child to the people who planted trees in the silo, knowing they would never see them grow. It's a poignant moment that underscores the theme of hope in the face of despair. This philosophy resonates with Phoebe, and by the end of the episode, she wins the lottery. The camera cuts to Pete's painful act of removing her birth control implant, an emotional moment that shows just how far people will go for a glimmer of hope, even when they know the risks involved. Meanwhile, Meadows continues her investigation into Juliet's cleaning incident. She meets with Sheriff Billings, who reveals his personal dilemma. Meanwhile, his syndrome diagnosis, a secret that could ruin his career if exposed. However, it turns out Meadows already knows about Billings's condition, and she suggests that it's just a natural human reaction to an unnatural situation, implying that the oppressive environment of the silo is the true cause of the syndrome. Billings, who has been working in the shadows for a long time, delivers his report to Meadows, confirming that no one has said they heard Juliet specifically request to go outside. This piece of information becomes crucial, as it suggests that Juliet may not have been entirely guilty of defying the rules. As Meadows reflects on this, she watches an old family recording of people laughing and playing on a beach, a heartbreaking reminder of the life outside the silo that everyone is cut off from. Meadows is clearly moved by this, as she silently cries, realizing the tragic loss of connection and humanity in the world they live in. Alliances form and break. In the Down Deep, Shirley and her rebel group face a dangerous encounter with Knox, a character whose loyalties have been tested since the rebellion began. Shirley confronts Knox, demanding that they free Teddy and stop the silo leadership from further oppressing the workers in Mechanical. During the heated exchange, someone throws a firebomb into the fray, and chaos erupts. In the gunfire that follows, Cooper, one of Juliet's allies, is killed. His death is a major blow to the rebellion, and it forces Shirley and Knox into a private meeting where they finally agree on a common goal: finding the truth. Knox reveals a secret about a wall of names and its significance, but for now, the details remain hidden. This alliance, formed in the face of tragedy, could prove pivotal as the rebellion gains more ground. At the same time, the alliance between Bernard and Meadows begins to unravel. The two meet again, but this time their conversation feels more tense and uncomfortable. Bernard's closeness to Meadows as he takes her measurements for an environmental suit signals a shift in their relationship. When Meadows presses Bernard on his role in the firebombing, he denies it, but the unspoken truth is clear. Bernard is willing to manipulate and control everything, even if it means betraying his former allies. Meadows, who has been questioning Bernard's motives, begins to realize just how far he's willing to go to maintain power. This unspoken truth causes their alliance to fracture, and it's clear that trust between the two is quickly dissolving.
Hey! No! Wait, did I hurt you? Are you okay?
Juliet and the Vault Man. Back in the abandoned silo, Juliet continues to navigate her relationship with Solo, the man living in the vault. At first, Solo is wary of her, but as time goes on, they start to form a fragile alliance. Juliet learns that Solo is the last remaining survivor of Silo 17, a place that fell into chaos after people began to believe the world outside the silo was safe. Ron Tucker, a man who defied the cleaning protocol and wrote lies on the camera lens, inspired the uprising that led to the downfall of the silo. This revelation sets the stage for Juliet's own mission to prevent history from repeating itself in her silo. Solo's loneliness is palpable, and it's clear that his decision to help Juliet is driven by his deep-seated need for human connection. He offers her food, and even awkwardly attempts to make small talk, revealing just how isolated he's been for so long. However, when Juliet asks him if he's responsible for the dead bodies in the hall, Solo becomes defensive, suggesting that he's been guarding the vault from those who want to harm him. The tension between them builds as Juliet realizes that Solo's fear of the outside world may be preventing him from helping her, but her determination to save thousands of lives pushes her forward. Solo's decision not to help Juliet initially is a crushing blow, but just as she's about to leave, his cry of "don't go" changes everything. He decides to help her, and together, they begin their risky mission to access the flooded area where the silo's broken generator is located. The episode ends with a powerful emotional moment between the two as they bond over their shared humanity and the terrifying uncertainty of their mission.
I've never come out this
Our
far.
nerdy thoughts. Silo Season 2 Episode 3 has been a game changer. From the increasing danger of the rebellion to Juliet's tense partnership with Solo, this episode has set the stage for the high-stakes battles ahead. The alliances that formed are already starting to crumble, and the revelations about the Silo's past and present only deepen the mystery surrounding the truth of their world. With Juliet's resolve to save her Silo and the rebels' fight for freedom, Silo is heading toward a dramatic clash between power and truth. This episode leaves us with more questions than answers, but one thing is clear: there's no turning back now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap and explanation, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Silo content. We'll be back with more breakdowns and theories as the season progresses. Until next time, keep watching, keep questioning, and keep exploring the Silo.
You're not free to make a baby.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.